Have you ever wondered why a woman can hear 100 compliments from 100 different men, yet only one of those compliments sticks in her mind when she goes to bed at night? Think about it. A man in New York blurts out, "You're beautiful," between a swig of coffee and a hurried goodbye, and she barely notices. The words float by like the skyline, impressive at a glance, then gone. But then another man, slower, quieter, says one line in a voice that feels like a low tide, pulling at the shore of something she keeps hidden. Suddenly she's lying awake replaying that sentence. Not because it was clever, not because it was loud, because it landed in the right place. Most men mistake compliments for tickets, quick passes they hand out, hoping one will stick. They aim to impress. They aim to be liked. They spray praise like confetti and expect fireworks. What the rare man understands, the man she dreams about only, is this. A compliment isn't a currency to buy affection. It's a brush that paints how she feels about herself. It's a small surgical light that shows a part of her no one else knew how to see. This difference separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. Women don't fantasize about compliments. They fantasize about the feeling those compliments create. A compliment aimed at the surface, hair, dress, smile, hits and fades because those things are obvious. They are visible to everyone. 1,000 men can point at the same surface and echo the same line, so the line becomes meaningless. What lingers is not the flattery itself, but the emotional truth behind it. Did the man actually see something unique? Here's the deeper truth. Many women carry a quiet hunger for being understood. They have been told their emotions are excessive, their thinking too messy, their ambitions too loud. They've been reduced to labels. High maintenance, too much, too sensitive. So the thing that cuts deeper than any line about looks is the rare recognition that acknowledges the complex, often hidden parts of her. When a man looks past the obvious and names what most people miss, he creates a private echo chamber inside her. That echo follows her into the small hours. It colors ordinary moments, washing dishes, walking home, scrolling through messages, when with the memory of being seen. That soundless impression turns into a private narrative she keeps replaying. She imagines the man's voice. She imagines the way he looked at her. She imagines the possibilities. And the reason this works is simple psychology. People remember how they felt more vividly than what they were told. Emotional memory, and the kind that sticks to the ribs, is what builds longing. The compliment becomes less a sentence and more an emotional breadcrumb. She follows it in her mind, constructing meaning, filling gaps, creating scenes where none existed. Her imagination turns a single line into a story. So the real skill isn't in finding clever words. It's in choosing the right layer to touch. Surface-level praise is noise. Soul-level recognition is signal. But there's a risk. Say these lines without presence or with obvious need, and they collapse into something else: manipulation, flattery, or worse, creepiness. The tone, timing, and most importantly, the energy behind the words are everything. Delivered with calmness, certainty, and composed masculinity, a single sentence can become a small, persistent light in her mind. Delivered with desperation or clumsy eagerness, the same sentence becomes a joke she forgets or a discomfort she avoids. Across cities, and from London pubs to Manhattan bars, from Sydney cafes to Toronto rooftops, the rules don't change. The men who leave marks are the ones who see what others do not, and then tell her simply and honestly, from a place of steady presence. They don't ask permission to notice her. They state it, and then they step back. That restraint is not indifference. It's emotional discipline. It signals that the man is whole on his own, yet attentive enough to register the rare things about her. You don't need a clever line. You need the courage to notice what others ignore, and the steadiness to say it without pleading for approval. There are 3 compliments that do precisely this. They reach beneath the surface and touch the emotional architecture of attraction. Each one performs a different psychological function. One validates her inner world, one acknowledges the lasting impression she leaves, and one preserves delicious mystery. When spoken with measured calm, they don't inflate her ego. They reframe her identity in the way that matters most, as someone who is truly seen. Stand by this truth as we move forward. The power isn't in the sentence itself. It's in the emotional truth you deliver. Wrapped in presence and restraint. Say them wrongly and you sound ordinary. Say them with the right energy, and she will play your voice back in the dark. Again and again. Let's break this down slowly, deeply, and in the way a woman's mind truly works. Compliment 1. I love the way your mind works. The compliment that makes her feel uniquely desired. Most men tell a woman she's beautiful, and they say it with the same emptiness as a routine greeting. Predictable, recycled. A line she has heard so many times it no longer reaches her. And here's the part most men never understand. The more beautiful the woman, the less she trusts compliments about her beauty. She's been told she's pretty since she was 12. She's been stared at, judged, objectified, romanticized, but rarely understood. So without even realizing it, she builds armor. Not around her face, not around her body, but around her mind. Because deep down, that's the place she's been longing for someone to touch. Not physically, but emotionally. Here's the real truth women hide. Most women feel mentally unseen. Not by their ex, not by their friends, not even by their own family. They feel misunderstood, or worse, misinterpreted. They feel like they're always explaining themselves, why they feel things deeply, why they overthink, why they notice details others miss, why they care about things people laugh at, why their emotions run like a river while others move like stones. And then they get labeled too emotional, too sensitive, too dramatic, too complicated. So what do women do? They hide their brilliance. They dim their depth. They soften their instincts. They pretend not to care as much as they actually do. They shrink their mind to fit the world. But when a man, a calm, composed, centered man, looks at her and says, I love the way your mind works, it hits her in a place she's been starving. A place most men wouldn't even know existed, because this compliment is not about her appearance. It's not about her body. It's not even about her personality. It is about her inner world. It tells her, you're not just attractive. You're fascinating. I'm not just looking at you. I'm understanding you. Your thoughts matter here. Your complexity isn't a burden, it's a beauty. Your depth isn't too much, it's exactly enough. This single sentence does something rare. It validates the part of her that no one else ever celebrates. Let me show you something powerful. She won't replay the compliment because it sounded poetic. She'll replay it because it made her feel recognizable, not as another attractive woman, but as a woman with dimension, layers, ideas, and an emotional universe inside her. And later that night, when she's lying in bed staring at the ceiling, she won't be thinking about your face. She'll be thinking about your awareness. That moment where your attention reached deeper than the surface. That moment where she felt like her mind, the part of herself she guards the most, finally had a home. And that is the beginning of emotional attraction. Not lust, not desire, not physical chemistry, but emotional gravity, the kind that doesn't just pull her toward you. It keeps her thinking about you, wondering about you, imagining you. This compliment works because it speaks to the version of herself she wishes the world saw, and you become the man who finally does. Compliment 2. You have an energy that stays with me. The compliment that enters her subconscious. This one is powerful, almost dangerously powerful, and because it bypasses her logical mind and goes straight into her emotional memory. Women don't fall for men through logic. They fall through felt experiences. They fall through the invisible things in presence, tone, energy, emotional vibe. When you tell a woman, you have an energy that stays with me, it creates a silent shockwave inside her. Why? Because women rarely believe they have that kind of impact on men. A woman might know she's attractive. She might know she has a nice smile. She might know she's charming. But deep down, every woman wonders, do I leave an impression? Do I stay? Leave an impression? Do I stay on his mind? Or am I just another girl he'll forget tomorrow? This is especially true in cities like New York, where people move fast, date fast, and forget even faster. So when a man, a disciplined, grounded man, looks at her and says, you have an energy that stays with me, even when we're not talking, it hits her heart like a quiet thunderstrike. This compliment works because it tells her 3 things she secretly longs to hear. 1, she affects you emotionally without trying. Women love knowing they have an effortless impact. It makes them feel powerful in a feminine way and not controlling but meaningful. 2, she is unforgettable, not replaceable. This taps into one of the deepest feminine desires, to feel like a man would remember her even if she walked away. For she is more than her looks, she is a presence. Most women feel invisible in a world obsessed with superficial beauty. Acknowledging her energy places value on the part of her that feels the most authentic. But here's the real magic. This compliment doesn't tell her what about her energy stays with you. It leaves a mystery. And women fantasize in emotional blanks. She fills it with her imagination. She wonders, is it my voice? My confidence? My softness? My humor? My presence? Her mind begins searching for answers. And every time she does, she thinks of you. Let me show you how this plays out. Imagine Olivia in Sydney. She's sitting by her window, scrolling through her phone, thinking about her day. Her life feels routine, predictable, unremarkable. She feels like she blends into the world, like she's no different from the thousands of women walking past the opera house every morning. But then your words come back to her. You have an energy that stays with me. Suddenly she feels significant. She feels like she carries something rare, something only you noticed. And that makes you stand out from every other man she's ever met. Because men who notice a woman's energy penetrate deeper than the men who notice her appearance. Women don't fantasize about attention. They fantasize about impact. When you compliment her energy, you tap into her subconscious. You become a presence she can't shake. This is how psychological attraction forms. Compliment 3. There's something about you I can't quite explain. The compliment that creates mystery, tension, and irresistible curiosity. This is the final compliment. The one that builds romantic tension so deep it keeps her awake long after she closes her eyes. Women do not fantasize about clarity. They fantasize about mystery. Men think real attraction comes from telling her how much you like her. But psychologically, telling too much kills curiosity. It kills the unknown. And what is fantasy made of? The unknown. When you tell her, there's something about you I can't quite explain, you create a silent emotional cliffhanger. This is the compliment that makes her mind race, not in panic and curiosity. The feminine psyche is naturally drawn to emotional puzzles. This compliment is a puzzle. She will think about this sentence far more than anything else you've ever said. Why? Because it implies you feel something unexplainable. You're attracted but not needy. There is chemistry but you're not rushing. You're affected by her but in a calm, stoic way. This compliment is masculine emotional restraint at its finest. It's the opposite of desperation. It's the opposite of validation seeking. It's the opposite of I like you so much, please like me back. It says, you affect me, but I won't reveal the full depth of it, and that is irresistible. Let me illustrate this with a powerful example. Imagine Jessica in Los Angeles. She's used to compliments. She gets them every day. Her beauty is noticed by everyone. The barista, the Uber driver, the guys at the gym, but none of them affect her. Then one evening she's texting you. The conversation is simple, flowing, natural. She says something, a thought, a joke, a perspective, and you reply, there's something about you I can't quite explain. Immediately she stops. Her heart beats differently. Her breathing shifts. She feels a pull, invisible but undeniable. She rereads the sentence. Once, twice, 3 times. She tries to interpret it, decode it, understand it. Women love emotional puzzles because they allow her imagination to become part of the interaction. And here's the psychological truth. The moment a woman starts imagining, she starts attachment building. She starts curiosity bonding. She starts fantasizing. This compliment works not because it praises her, but because it gives her something to chase emotionally. It creates a beautiful tension, a soft, romantic uncertainty that keeps her hooked. This is why when she goes to bed at night, she will think about this line more than anything else. It's incomplete, mysterious, intriguing, and humans, and especially women, are neurologically wired to seek closure. She wants to know what something is. She wants to know what you feel. She wants to know why you can't explain it. She wants to know what makes her different in your eyes. And because you didn't explain it, she will explain it to herself. That is how fantasy begins. Final message, the Stoic way to use these compliments. Before you ever let these words leave your mouth, you need to understand something powerful. A compliment is not what creates fantasy. Your energy behind the compliment does. A woman does not fantasize about men who beg for her attention. She fantasizes about the man she cannot fully understand. The man who is present but not desperate, warm but not needy, interested but not seeking approval. Because women don't fall for men through logic. They fall through emotional experiences, subtle moments, emotional contrasts, and the mysterious calmness of a grounded man. That's why these compliments only work when delivered with masculine stillness. Not nervousness, not overexcitement, not please like me energy. A man who is calm when he speaks. A man who breathes slowly. A man who looks at her with grounded eyes instead of hungry eyes. That is the man who enters her fantasies without even trying. Because here is the truth. A woman does not fantasize about men who seek validation. She fantasizes about men who embody the qualities she can feel even when he's silent. Presence. The kind of presence that makes her heart slow down when she's near you. Emotional control. The kind of self-mastery that makes her feel safe enough to open up. Quiet confidence, not loud, not flashy. A calm certainty. Depth. A man who sees more than the surface, who listens beneath the words. Restraint. A man who could say everything but chooses to say only what matters. Those traits are rare, and what is rare becomes unforgettable. So when you speak the words, I love the way your mind works. You have an energy that stays with me. There's something about you I can't quite explain. You must understand that the delivery is more powerful than the words themselves. You're not trying to impress her. You're not trying to win her approval. You're not trying to convince her to want you. You're simply revealing the truth you see in her, from a place of strength rather than need. That's why these compliments land so deeply. 1, you're not giving her validation. Validation is cheap. Validation is what every man offers when he wants something in return. You are giving her something far more valuable. 2, you're giving her recognition. You're recognizing the subtle hidden parts of her she thought no one could see. Her mind, her presence, her essence. A woman falls for the man who sees the side of her she hides from the world. 3, you're giving her emotional meaning. You're telling her without directly saying it. Your existence leaves a mark. And every woman dreams of being a presence, not just a face. 4, you're giving her mysterious masculine attention, not loud attention, not thirsty attention, not forced attention, but that rare, powerful attention that makes her feel, I don't know what it is about him, but he affects me. That's the kind of attention a woman thinks about while she's driving home, making tea in her kitchen, or lying in bed staring at the ceiling. 5, you're giving her something to imagine when she's alone at night. Because the truth is this, women fantasize in silence. Not in the moment. Not when you're talking to them. But later, when the world quiets down, when she's alone with her thoughts, when your words echo back into her chest. These compliments are not about boosting her ego. They are about awakening her imagination. You're planting a spark inside her mind. A spark she will revisit again and again, trying to understand the part of herself you were able to see. And this is what truly creates fantasy. Not words, not looks, not trying hard to impress her, but meaning. Meaning delivered through presence, depth, and masculine restraint. Say these compliments with that energy, and you won't just stay in her thoughts. You'll stay in her emotional memory. And that is where real attraction is born. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.